When they want to do something to hurt black people, the wheels of government turn fucking fast, son.
Oh, yeah.
This just happened. And they're like, oh, I can fit this in. Let's go.
We are now about 16 months into what has been from day one a concerted and intense targeting of black Americans, specifically by this president and by this administration. On his first full day in office, he proclaims war on diversity efforts, not only in government, but in any institution in the country over which he can exert leverage, everything from schools and universities to law firms to private businesses of every stripe.
Small steps forward. But man, when they want to roll stuff back, they're taking like jumping frog leaps.
Yep.
Greetings to you, my BPPN family. Welcome to Bold Perspectives Network. I'm Mr. Red. We just recently talked about how you had certain white people blaming black people for the problems in politics. I read your comments, and a lot of you all felt just like I did. This is absolutely ridiculous if you think that we're the problem. We control nothing. Hell, we couldn't even get a black woman into the office of president because of racism. But I came across this one, and what makes this one crazy is because there was a leaker that basically came across a transcript of Mitch McConnell talking to another high-ranking Republican about the plans that these people have for black and brown people, but not just that. If you think this is a black and brown issue, then you haven't been paying attention. This is a they want to control Americans issue. Now, you might be saying, why do they care about controlling all Americans? Not just, what about you black and brown people? Why don't they just want to control y'all? We're not you. Yes, you are. If you're not in the Epstein class, then you're expendable. Even Trump himself doesn't even like some of the people around him that voted for him. Ain't that some shit? But yet we're all lumped into this together. I want you to hear this audio recording of this transcript. And then we're going to talk about it on the other side, because I'm going to connect some dots. And those dots should show you that we may not like each other, but we've always been fighting the same enemy. We have much to discuss. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
Transcripts. Mitch, we have to bring slavery back. Those were the good old days. Kevin, how will we do that? There's no way we can do that. Mitch, black people won't do it, but white people will. Kevin, how will we get white people to be slaves? That sounds ridiculous. Mitch, we have to get rid of the separation of church and state. We must have state-funded religious schools. Kevin, I don't see where you're getting at. Mitch, those schools will have work programs for 4th through 8th graders. Kevin, I think I see where you're going here. How is that going to work? Mitch, we get the kids to pick all the produce as a part of their work program, teach them the values of good old-fashioned blue-collar labor and the bounty of God. Kevin, I don't think that anyone will go for that. Mitch, it's all about grooming. Start in the 1st grade, and by 4th grade, they'll be ready to do it. Kevin, but we already have people to pick the produce. Mitch, we have to finish the wall. Kevin, no way that's going to happen. Mitch, we find better ways to get the immigrants out of the United States. Kevin, like doubling ICE. Mitch, yes. Kevin, this will be too hard, and we'll be too busy trying to sustain this over long periods of time and generations. Mitch, no, we get rid of the abortion laws in the United States and we make it mandatory that all 8th grade females be impregnated in order to graduate. Kevin, like replacing the crops. Ha ha ha, pun intended. Also, Kevin, I will work on getting the abortion ban. You work on state-funded religious schools. Mitch, we don't have to do either. Lindsay and I took care of that with the new SCOTUS.
There it is right there. All of these things that they talked about, we've been seeing come to pass. This is why, it seems that MAGA, or should I say Republicans, they have no line, because they vote with Trump 90+% of the time. They agree with all of the bad things that have happened since he's been in office. They don't disagree, even to the point, the pain at the gas pump, the pain in the economy, the loss of health care, the loss of benefits, the loss of rights. Even I put videos out on this channel showing that these people say, hey, well, the people gonna have to feel some pain, but this gotta happen. That's how strongly they believe in this agenda. Project 2025. All of this stuff is laid out in it. They go to these conferences and they talk about these things. And when they're just sipping their brandy and they're sipping their bourbon and their scotch and whatever else they drink, this is what they talk about. You got to understand that they want you to feel the pain of all these things that they want to put into place while they are getting rich. I mean, very, very, very rich. And a lot of them are not going to have problems with retiring or leaving office because they're going to make so much money from the investments, from the money they've been funneling, that's been funneled to them. They don't care. They do not care about the future of our kids. Matter of fact, they don't even care about the future of your kids. They care about their kids. None of these people will sign up their own kids to go to war, but they will sign up poor black, brown, white people.
Did you ever wonder why black people willingly went through hell during the civil rights movement? House bombs, beaten in the streets, assassinations. Well, I can promise you it wasn't because we wanted to ride white folks' buses. And it certainly wasn't because we wanted to eat at white folks' restaurants. It was because we wanted them to stop playing games with our vote. And so long as they could treat us like second-class citizens in one place, they could treat us like second-class citizens in any place, including the voting. They created poll taxes and grandfather clauses and literacy tests to stop us from voting. But as times changed, they realized there was a flaw in their system. What happens when educated Negroes can read your literacy tests? What happens when working Negroes can save their money or pool their money to pay your little poll tax? Well, the bigots were only left with two options. Violent intimidation, which was becoming less and less socially acceptable, or something more sinister. You let black folks vote, but you dilute their political power. You draw districts in a way that makes it impossible for black folks to choose the leaders they want without ever having to talk about race explicitly. That's what Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act went after, the cowardly, race-neutral way in which white people would keep black folks out of power. And the Supreme Court just took us right back to that time.
I want y'all to think about something. The governor of Louisiana is celebrating today the fact that he was able to successfully stop an election. So what does that mean? Well, we're all told to get out and vote, right? That your vote count. You change laws by voting, right? But what happens when the powerful, or the people in power rather, stop the elections, rendering your votes pointless? Also, what happens when the powerful remove the position of an elected official? Someone who was elected by the people who got out, waited in long lines to vote. That's what happened in Louisiana.
Friendly reminder, these four little girls that integrated schools in New Orleans, the first of which that integrated schools across the United States after the Brown versus Board of Education ruling, aged into these fine ladies, 71 years old. They are still alive. That happened in 1960. That was one of the beginning of the end of Jim Crow, especially in the South. But guess who else is still alive, potentially? These people, the children that also grew up, and if they didn't learn any better about what it means to treat other people fairly, humanly, and humanely, they could grow up to be in all kinds of positions of power, professional power.
Oh, here we go. So, Mr. Nigga right here. Yeah, that's your ass.
So you the one
I
like
want you the one like call people niggas and shit.
You gonna
call me a
today?
nigga. Call me one.
I bet you won't call in front of a black man like
I bet
that.
you won't call
In
me
fact,
no
let
nigga.
Let me help you. You call a black woman in the word, call me that.
No, call me that.
I dare you to do it, and I swear for God, I'll make you taste the ancestors.
Me too.
You had black people fight in every war that this country has been a part of, and we thought that it would give us rights, it would give us status, it would give us opportunity. And we came home to people still calling us the N-word. We came home and realized that the benefits that white soldiers got from serving their country wasn't the same thing as that what black Americans got. It's all a lie, it's all a farce. It's all to make this right here a reality. When the Republican Party says that it cares about family values, when it cares about kids, tell me what kind of family values is it when your kid is working in these conditions? But there were a bunch of these southern Midwest states that were lowering the age requirements, passing bills and laws to lower age requirements so that this could happen right here. There was a reason why they raised the age requirements, because kids were working in factories and they were dying in the factories. What happened to Republicans who are supposed to be pro-life? How can you be pro-life that when kids get here, you want them to work in factories, but you will prioritize them working over getting an education? Because an uneducated kid becomes an uneducated adult, and an uneducated adult will typically vote for an uneducated Republican Party.
So a person of color in the United States during the Jim Crow era faced disenfranchisement, second-class citizenship, barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, and barriers to housing. Then in the United States, we passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the 1965 Voting Rights Act, that said that we can no longer do this, discriminate based on skin color. 21, what is the only label that we can legally discriminate against, that we can legally disenfranchise, relegate to second-class citizenship, have barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, barriers to housing? If you guessed right, in 2021, convicted felons are the only people we are allowed to legally disenfranchise. Now, do you believe it's a coincidence that 1 in 3 African American males now carry this label of convicted felon, as opposed to 1 in 17 white males that carry this label of convicted felon, to legally be disenfranchised? If you answered yes to that question, let's look at what's happened between the Jim Crow era and 2021. We've had a 700% increase in our United States prison population. We've gone from 300,000 inmates in 1970 to 1.8 million today, and as high as 2.3 million. So in spite of crime rate dropping, our prison population skyrocketed. And it was because we had the law and order agenda. And the law and order agenda increased police spending, but decreased our education funding. And by doing so, we created the school to prison pipeline. We also created the war on drugs, which we now know is a war on people. In 1986, we passed the Anti-Drug Abuse Act, which differentiated between powder cocaine and hard cocaine, which we now know disproportionately impacted people of color. We also had the 94 crime bill with the Truth in Sentencing Act, which led to higher incarceration rates and harsher sentences for people of color. And once I saw all this, my perspective changed, because I know that Jim Crow era never ended.
You know, all we need now is the courts to overturn 14, and we can look at a new election. The thing is, if we did nothing was going to happen.
Amendment 14, ratified July 9, 1868. Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws.
You have to understand that their plan is more sinister. It has nothing to do with just black and brown people. So while some people out there might sit on their high horse and think that this is only going to happen to black and brown people, this is a plan that they want to happen to all of America. That's why they're building these data centers, these AI data centers. They want everything to be controlled through a digital currency, through AI. While they sit back and they think that they're going to live this lavish life, and we will be policed by AI robots, AI surveillance, take away your money. Everything that's in this Bible, supposedly you all believe in, this is the people making it happen. These are the people making it come about.
After Louisiana took a sledgehammer to the Civil Rights Act and eliminated one of its 2 majority black districts, a man wearing a tan suit and a Trump was wrong about everything hat sat down and incinerated them.
If y'all can give us less than 0 seats, you would do it. Y'all do this under the orders of somebody that said the Civil Rights Act was harmful to white people. RFK said that black children are overfilled on antidepressants and that they need to be reparented on different forms. So as far as I'm concerned, if you here as one of these Trump Republicans, you already showed us who you are. You showed us what you want to do. And I believe the country as a whole is rebuking your party. That's why y'all have to redistrict. That's why y'all have to cheat. That's why Trump got to go to Texas and say he entitled to 5 more seats. It's because y'all know what y'all doing is abhorrent. So I'm positive y'all gonna be okay with the match. But the beautiful thing is, the children that y'all have made and the people that's younger than y'all don't support none of this racism that y'all want. The MAGA party is the last breath of the Confederacy. And I'll be happy to see millennials and Gen Z bury y'all. There will be no more of your party. The midterms gonna come, y'all gonna get wiped out. Trump gonna get dragged out of the White House, and I'ma love every second of it.
Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.